Hello and welcome to today's webinar entitled Fast Data for Competitive Advantage, 4 Steps to Expand Your Opportunity. Now I'd like to take a minute to introduce our speakers. With us today we have Bruce Reading, President and CEO of VoltDB. Bruce has over 30 years of experience building teams and creating business value in a variety of strategic roles including sales, marketing, asset management, M&A, and operations. Prior to joining VoltDB, Bruce was Senior Vice President and General Manager for CompuWare Corporation, and prior to that, he spent 6 years as President, Chief Operating Officer, and Senior Vice President at Gomez Incorporated. Also with us today is David Peters. David is the Executive Director and CEO and founder of Emagine International. David is an experienced telecom marketing professional. He's got a strong record in delivering increased revenues and decreasing churn for mobile operators in Australia and France. David turned his entrepreneurial dreams into reality when he founded Emagine in 1988. He's led the growth of Emagine's business globally by focusing first and foremost on delivering outstanding results for clients, and you'll hear a lot about that today from his presentation, using a combination of the best people, the best tools and technologies, and a strong collaborative relationship with clients that is always a win-win. So welcome to VoltDB's Executive Webinar Series on Fast Data Strategy. In this 3-part series, we'll bring you experts and ideas on the cutting edge of the fast data revolution. In today's session, you'll learn the 4 steps on how to expand your window of opportunity while avoiding risky options that can destroy your business. And we're fortunate to have with us technology innovator and CEO of Emagine, David Peters, who will share key lessons he's learned from establishing his company's ability to use fast data to beat his competition and open new markets. In the second webinar, session number 2, you'll learn how innovative companies in mobile telco, financial services, and media and entertainment have successfully tapped into the fast data opportunity. And then in session 3, you'll learn strategies for evaluating alternative business and technology options that you can use in your own business. Okay, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Bruce Reading to start today's webinar.
Thanks, Peter. It's a pleasure to be with you guys today, and I want to thank David Peters for joining us in today's webinar. There's a clear disruptive generational market shift creating a very large business opportunity. And it's all about how fast data can give your business a competitive advantage, improve revenues, reduce costs, and really impact your balance sheet in a unique and aggressive manner. I wanted to give you a little context today. In a recent Computer World article, the University of California at Berkeley, Professor Vincent Telly predicted that more than 1 trillion devices would be in our world within 10 years. As the physical and digital worlds get connected, it's nothing short of the datafication of life. It will continue to grow at record rates and will overwhelm our ability to manage effectively this amount of data. With 1 trillion devices on the way, the volume and velocity of data is going to grow dramatically. It's a massive business opportunity, but also a significant potential threat. In an increasing data-intensive world, your business is only as fast as your competitive database. Data is transforming our businesses today, and different types of data represent different opportunities. Fast data, or data in motion, is very different than big data, or data at rest. Fast data applications analyze and make decisions on data as it is received in real time to have the single biggest operational impact and benefit. Mike Gualtieri, principal analyst at Forrester Research, reports that the value of fast data is perishable. It exists in the moment and can have exponentially more value than data at rest. I'm absolutely delighted that VoltDB is the only purpose-built database for fast data applications. We are uniquely good at converting data into business value. The proof is in the pudding. Let's look at some actual customer results. So as I said, fast data is different than big data. I'd like to talk a little bit about why and why you should care. The hypothesis is a simple one. Being fast gives you a significant competitive advantage. You can manage and improve your customers' experience interactively. While they are engaging with your business, detect fraud before it hurts your business, and predict and remedy failures before they happen. Being fast affords you the opportunity to disrupt your marketplace, displace your competitors, and deepen your relationship with your customers. At VoltDB, we believe this shift is fundamental to the way businesses will operate and compete. We believe that in the future, all businesses will compete on their ability to make decisions in the moment using fast data. Across multiple industries, data is leading to significant transformations. Companies like Uber, the ride-sharing service, and GE with their Predix industrial IoT platform are creating new businesses and new markets. Industries are moving from a focus on broad audiences to a new focus on individuals, with targeted marketing and services leveraging data that was previously either not available at all or not available in a meaningful context or simply not fast enough for in-time action. We refer to this as hyper-personalization. Studies have shown that companies that use data intelligently grow faster and are more profitable than their peers. In those companies, data drives every decision, fuels every interaction, and powers every process. Fast data is creating new opportunities to differentiate your business, improve your balance sheet, and significantly allow differentiation from your competitors. The research firm Gartner shows the benefit of real-time interactions with your customers to be 10 to 15 times greater than a mass marketing effort. Our customer, Flipkart, the largest e-tailer in India, is using VoltDB to create real-time data infrastructure to improve customer interaction and satisfaction. Another customer in the telco vertical has increased offer uptake by up to 75%, their revenues by 15%, through a shift in using fast, real-time contextual offers with their customers. There's no doubt that fast data is a disruptive influence in today's business and will be a major competitive advantage for you to harness in the future. But it's a reality today, and you can benefit from it now. So I'd like to talk you through 4 steps that we believe identify significant opportunities today. In our experience with our customers, most of whom are on the leading edge of innovation in their respective markets, we've identified these 4 steps that represent the areas with the richest, most ready opportunities to leverage fast data. In each step, I'll describe examples, hopefully, that will help you identify opportunities for your business. Let's take a look at what it can mean for you. Step 1 is all about your customers and how they interact with your business. We refer to this as hyper-personalization. So hyper-personalization means the ability to provide meaningful context with fast interaction to maximize experience and end-user engagement. The mobile marketplace is probably the best example of what's possible for hyper-personalization. And in a few minutes, you're going to hear from Dave Peters. He's going to speak to you about how he's built a highly disruptive and differentiated offer in his market around hyper-personalization capabilities. Here's an example of hyper-personalization in financial services. At VoltDB's client, brokers in this investment bank manage high-net-worth individual clients using fast data. They have a customized dashboard that provides real-time interaction with their clients as they speak with them. It gives them the opportunity in microseconds to understand changes for that client's portfolio and interests as they are conversing with them in the moment. Here's an example of hyper-personalization in the online gaming world. VoltDB customer Delta DNA makes a real-time personalization and player insight platform. They perform in-depth player analysis on terabytes of data and hyper-personalize the interaction with their customers in milliseconds. Leveraging fast data in VoltDB, they've been able to increase player retention by 200% and their revenues by 40%. In the pharmaceutical industry, we have a customer that uses VoltDB on thousands of their websites to provide a customized experience to doctors doing drug research. Content is recommended based upon the doctor's profile and real-time behavior, effectively hyper-personalizing the interaction with their customers. Now let's move on to step 2, to find fast data opportunities in your business. Consider operations where fast, precise resource management can differentiate your offerings, dramatically improve efficiency, and improve your ROI. VoltDB customer Max CDN is a content delivery service provider to digital advertisers, ad networks, publishers, hosting providers, and gaming companies. They use VoltDB to process over 32 terabytes of log data per day, creating real-time dashboards for their customers, providing real-time analytics, all with 100% billing accuracy and reliability. Here's a great example of fast data resource management from the mobile advertising world. VoltDB customer AirPush redesigned their systems to maximize the potential of their fast data. They enabled accurate ad campaign management matching ad budget and ad spend to achieve precise last dollar decisions. They eliminated the opportunity cost of placing wrong ads, all while reducing legacy infrastructure costs by 93%. Let's move on to step 3, to identify fast data opportunities for real-time policy enforcement and authorization. There are many examples where real-time policy enforcement made with in-moment decisions can provide significant value. In financial services, credit card fraud is a multi-billion-dollar challenge. It's a clear fast data problem. Analyzing data with the swipe of a card and making a decision to approve or disapprove a charge needs to happen in milliseconds. One of our customers, one of the largest banks in the world, revamped their fraud detection platform using VoltDB. They evaluate hundreds of events and rules in milliseconds, all with context to manage and reduce fraudulent charges. Another type of real-time policy enforcement is with service-level agreements, which exist across many industries. In this example, VoltDB customer OpenNet manages SLAs with their operator customers to ensure that calls are validated in under 50 milliseconds. If authorization is not done in time, the call still is completed, but the customer is not billed, clearly impacting revenue. Using VoltDB, OpenNet is able to meet their SLA, which requires validation in under 50 milliseconds and must be achieved at 5 nines of reliability. It's one of the most demanding fast data use cases I've seen. Now let's move on to step 4 and the opportunity with the Internet of Things and sensor data. As I discussed earlier, the number of devices being deployed for the Internet of Things is massive. This will create many new opportunities that did not exist previously for businesses, especially those in the industrial segments of the economy. It will also spur the creation of many new markets. Embracing IoT and the opportunities to improve your business can have a large payoff. While there is a lot of hype around IoT, smart energy and smart grids are one of the earliest IoT segments to actually deploy, and VoltDB has been part of them. VoltDB has been deployed to manage the sensor data flowing from over 6 million smart meters in Japan and is in the process of being rolled out to manage over 52 million smart meters in the UK. Smart meters enable utilities to manage their networks more efficiently, improve reliability, and help their customers save money. Here's an example of a new business in the IoT Connected Home segment. MyFox is a pioneer in the home security space. They created the first connected home security system that uses vibration and motion sensors deployed in the home to create a new kind of security offering. They use VoltDB deployed in the cloud to monitor sensor data in real time to provide proactive deterrence. With real-time analytics, they can detect break-ins before they happen. In summary, here are the 4 steps to use to identify fast data opportunities in your business. Now I'd like to turn it over to David Peters, who's going to speak to you today about how he has used fast data to disrupt his business segment and give him a significant competitive advantage.
What I'll cover today is really 3 things. I want to talk about our business, which is customer value management, what it is and how it is evolving towards real-time customer interaction. Secondly, I'll take you through our decision process that led to our selection and partnership with VoltDB. And finally, what I'll do is give you some practical case studies of the impact of real-time for our clients and also on Emagine's business. Okay, so firstly, what is customer value management and why does it matter? And why is real-time customer value management important? Well, customer value management is simply the practice of interacting with customers and generating superior returns by understanding each customer and engaging with the right customer at the right time with the right offer. It's not a new concept. In fact, this has been the cornerstone of direct marketing since the 1980s when Peppers and Rogers wrote one-to-one marketing. It's a very simple concept, which is that we want to treat each individual customer as an individual, and at Emagine we call that marketing to one. What is new is that in today's world there's a massive amount of data which is often referred to as big data. And the other thing which is new is the ability to achieve hyper-personalization in real time using fast data. We see that our customers' expectations of interactions with their service providers have also evolved over the years that we've been in this field, and they've become more sophisticated. So customers not only expect their service providers to know them, understand their usage and their value, and offer them tailored products and services, they also expect them to understand their community affiliation, to remember and recognize them using historical data or big data, and using real-time data or data in motion to predict and react in real time to drive superior customer experience, superior loyalty, and future growth. This type of customer interaction is often called contextual interaction or contextual marketing. Okay, and why is it important? Well, we know from our experience with our clients that executing a successful CVM strategy, customer value management strategy, can increase their revenues across the business by up to 5%. So in this telecoms example, an operator with 15 million prepaid customers and an average revenue of $27 has achieved over $437 million worth of incremental value over the first 3 years of implementing and executing a successful CVM strategy. So there's a large upside here commercially for the service providers that adopt a successful CVM strategy. Now, Emagine's been delivering solutions in this space for over 15 years, and a few years ago we recognized that real-time data was going to be the competitive battlefield for the future. And we came to that conclusion simply because we believed that service providers needed to be interacting with their customers in the moment when it really counts. I think each of us can understand that from our own interactions, whether it be with a bank or with a telecoms operator, an insurance company, or a utility provider. This world today, we're very used to real-time interaction, getting the answers that we're after in real time, and having an experience which is personalized. So a couple of years ago, we took the decision to undertake a major architectural review of our contextual marketing solution suite and to re-architect that platform for the future. And that was the start of the journey that led us to our partnership with VoltDB. So our platform, which is called the Emagine Adaptive Contextual Marketing Platform, is a modular platform for managing all the customer interactions across all customer touchpoints for a service provider. You can see that on the right-hand side of the diagram. Whether it's a telecoms operator, a bank, or an energy retailer, that's the solution that we bring to our clients. The Adaptive Contextual Marketing Platform ingests data on the left-hand side of the diagram, whether that's in batch mode, which is commonly referred to as big data, or in real-time or fast data mode. And in the heart of the platform, in the center of this diagram, there's a set of modules to manage the outbound and inbound customer interaction, the data, the analytics, and the reporting associated with designing, executing, measuring, and analyzing the effectiveness of all of those interactions. So that's what our platform does. And when we looked at the architecture blueprint that we'd adopt a few years ago, we selected the Lambda Architecture as the blueprint for our solutions and how we would develop them in the future. Lambda's been widely adopted as big data and fast data management blueprint for many internet firms, and it has three key elements. One is a batch layer, which is about the data at rest. One is a real-time layer for fast data, which deals with all the data in motion and the streaming analytics. And one is a serving layer, which combines the insights from the big data with the streaming data in order to interact with the customer in the most appropriate way in the instant. So the batch layer was relatively straightforward for us. I'm not going to talk about that today. What we really want to talk to when we started this journey is what we really want to talk about, when we started this journey several years ago, was looking for that real-time layer and how we went about that. So we ran a selection process. We had a selection framework to select a real-time in-memory database solution. We undertook a global review of all the available fast data platforms which were available, and my CTO with some of our key engineers led that process. Our key requirements were that we wanted to achieve under 250 milliseconds from action to interaction. So from the time a customer did something to the time we actually interacted with them had to be under 250 milliseconds. We wanted the throughput to be in the millions in terms of transactions per second. We needed to maintain a high level of data integrity because when you're dealing with customer data and customer interactions, obviously everything is driven by the quality of that data. And we wanted it to fit into that Lambda architecture. And another key thing which we found when we went through this process that was important was the implementation support post-sale that we'd get from the vendor of the in-memory database solution. And at the end of that process, we selected VoltDB. I'll just dig into this in a little bit of detail. I said that data integrity was important, and this chart really overviews how we perceive VoltDB relative to some of the other alternatives. For the real-time solution, we needed data now. So on the left axis, we were looking at the top half of this diagram, which is we needed the data, we needed to process that and make decisions and interact with the customer, as I said, in under 250 milliseconds. We also needed the data with complete integrity because real-time data is being used to drive analytics, which drives a decision, which ends up with a communication in the hands of the customer, whether that's telling the customer they're about to run out of a data bundle, or that they're in a service area that's got poor coverage, or that they're ready to run out of airtime credit, or whatever it is. Those real-time interactions have to be driven off data with complete integrity. It has to be 100% accuracy with consistency and no loss of any data integrity. And that's where we found that VoltDB stood out. So the other processing offerings like Storm and Spark did offer fast response, but they couldn't guarantee that the data wouldn't be lost. And that was a key thing when we needed to actually use that data to interact with the customers in our decision process. Okay, and in terms of partnership, VoltDB has become an integral to our solution because they've been providing us with great technical support in the build of our application. So they gave us, I guess, one of the building blocks so that we could develop our application. That's their go-to-market approach, and that's worked very well with us. The speed that we've achieved has been amazing. I'll show you some outcomes of the case studies in a minute, but the ability to rapidly ingest high volumes of data from multiple streams was a differentiator. We found the platform supported streaming analytics and what we had to do in complex event processing at a very high speed. And for the Emagine development team, it was relatively simple because VoltDB's single integrated offering combines an operational database with the ability to ingest and export data. And the programming language is SQL or Java, which are very widely known and popular standards. So it was easy to get the team up to speed and productive in actually building the applications, our applications. Okay, so that's a little bit about CVM and the decision process we went through in selecting VoltDB for our real-time module. And the question, I guess, which is following is, having made this investment in real-time, did it work? We went into this believing that interacting with customers in the moment would actually drive greater business results for our clients, for service providers, so that they could interact with their customers in the moment. it seems to intuitively make sense that this would be the case. And as a consumer, I'm sure we've all had an experience where that has been the case. So having gone down this path and built the platform, we set out to prove it empirically. So what we did was we went to one of our existing customers, and it was a mobile operator with over 20 million customers, and we're really trying to answer the question, will real-time campaigns and real-time customer interaction based on streaming analytics deliver a greater business benefit than the existing solution, which was near real-time? When we talk about near real-time, we're talking about anything from 5 to 15 minutes after the event. So it's, whereas when we talk about real-time, we're talking about sub-second interaction with the customer after a certain event. So we wanted to try and prove whether the same campaigns run on the same type of customers in real-time had a bigger business impact than the near real-time equivalent. Okay, so we ran with this client 2 use cases. One was all about data bundles and re-signing customers to data bundles. The second was about offering them an airtime advance. In the first use case, customers were using bundles. They would purchase a bundle which gives them data at a low rate, low cost. They use that bundle up, and as they're about to go out of bundle, what the operator wanted to do was to make a contextual real-time offer with a customized data bundle for each individual subscriber to avoid them going out of bundle, and also to stretch their revenue and usage so that they would use more data and buy bigger data bundles. The second use case was airtime advance, which was looking at customers who were about to go out of credit and offer them a real-time contextual airtime credit offer, which was again personalized to each individual customer, so that they could continue to use the network, and so the operator gets the revenue from the continued network usage, and the customer pays a small service fee when they next top up or recharge their account. So they were 2 very practical and simple use cases which previously the operators had done either in a batch mode with a contextual offer, so in a near real-time mode with a 5 or 15 minute delay, or they'd done that solution running off their network elements with one standard customer interaction for all customers. There was no contextual personalized offer to the customer. It was the same offer for every individual customer. So this client was already a customer and had our traditional campaign management system installed, and we added the new real-time module, which is the Emagine real-time event decisioning platform, which is built around VoltDB. And with a drop of Emagine real-time, we were really looking, could we improve the business results? So this module does 4 things. It makes 4 decisions, and it does it in real time. The first thing it does, it ingests and understands the data from the network. The second thing it does is determines the answer to the question, is there a relevant event? In other words, based on all of this data that we're ingesting, is there a moment of truth, and should we communicate to the customer right now? The third thing it does is it determines, if there is a relevant event, what is the best offer or interaction for that customer at this moment in time. So what do we say to the customer? What's the offer? And fourth, it determines the correct channel and puts the content together and delivers that to the customer. So let's have a look at the technical results, and then we'll look at the business impact from this case study. The technical results were very impressive. For the POC, we integrated to the operator's network. We looked at 11 different integration sources, and to do it quickly, we selected one for the proof of concept. We received over 1.5 billion call detail records a day, which are all of the records about voice, data, and SMS for every customer. And the average latency for us to get that was 12 minutes. So I just want to point out that this delay was from the operator themselves. Emagine is able to integrate directly to the network elements and get the data in real time, and we've since done so. But for this POC, we had a latency on that data. From the moment that data hit our system, we ingested the data and decoded it in real time. We understood it. Then we determined using streaming analytics whether a relevant event exists. We used analytics to determine the best offer. Then we determined the best channel and delivered the comm, which was personalized for that customer to that customer. The total time to do those 4 steps, ingestion, decisioning around the event, the offer allocation, channel selection, and the delivery, was 447 milliseconds. And of that, 7 milliseconds was really inside the Emagine platform, which was all about the ingestion, understanding the event detection, the offer allocation, and the channel selection. And 440 milliseconds was queuing it up at the SMSC to actually send the text to the customer. So that was, we certainly achieved our technical objective of doing it sub-second. In fact, this POC was run on a single node VoltDB platform on commodity hardware, which probably had a price tag of less than $20,000 for the hardware. In our production employment, our standard minimum configuration is a 3-node platform, and that would improve, and it does improve the speed dramatically. But for the purposes of this POC, on a single node, the client was actually blown away anyway with the speed. So technically, we achieved an amazing result there in terms of the speed that we could process and interact with customers. Just one point in terms of the latency on that data. I said that there was a 12-minute average delay on the latency of the data hitting us. So you might ask, well, how did that turn into a real-time interaction with the customer? What we're able to do here is take that data and use the streaming analytics on that data to predict, based on the customer's usage, the velocity of their usage, the type of data they're using, and all of the data available in those 1.5 billion records, to look at that per customer and predict the customer's usage and predict exactly the right time to contact the customer. And we're able to use that streaming analytics and do that and predict exactly 85% of the time, the exact moment to contact the customer. So even with an average latency on the data, we're able to use some of the streaming analytics capabilities within VoltDB and, of course, our own smart people to build these algorithms to predict the usage and the velocity of that usage and when was the right time to interact with that customer, making the customer experience feel like a real-time interaction for them. Okay, so technically we were very happy, and from the business results, in short, they were very positive also. On the data bundle re-sign use case, we found that we were trying to avoid out-of-bundle fees, and through real-time intervention with the customer, with a contextual offer, which was personalized, we reduced out-of-bundle usage by 5.2 times. And that was 5.2 times. All of these results are versus the equivalent near real-time campaigns, which runs every 5 to 15 minutes. So secondly, the data bundle sales increased by 50% for real-time versus near real-time campaigns. So an increase in data bundle sales and revenue of over 50%. So that was a good success. On the airtime advance, which was giving airtime credit to customers running out of credit, interacting with them in real time, saw the offer adoption rates or conversion rates go up 157% in real time versus batch. Also, customers who received the real-time contextual offer bought 253% more airtime advance than those in the batch mode. So that was a massive result. And that, obviously, there's a small subset of customers who fall into that category within the total base, but scaling that across the base is probably worth $30,000 a month of incremental revenue just for that one use case in the airtime advance administration fees. So that's pure margin straight to the bottom line. for the operator by executing that one simple use case. Typically in a client, there'll be hundreds of these sorts of real-time use cases. And if we extrapolate this sort of impact across the whole of the customer interactions, I said at the start of this presentation that we can get up to 5% incremental revenue from the customer, which was worth about 400 million. And if we can increase that by 150 to 250%, then clearly there's a large upside for any service provider in moving from even near real-time to real-time sub-second customer interaction. So the results overall of this POC were compelling, and indeed we've had many of our customers subsequently buy and install our real-time platform, and it's proven to be a great positive competitive advantage for Emagine in the market. So I just want to talk quickly about our competitive advantage then. We can see how this provides upside and a competitive advantage to our service providers, but for Emagine as a software company, this real-time capability has created a competitive advantage for Emagine. In the example I just gave, we upgraded and added our real-time module to an existing customer where they already had our campaign management platform. But of course, in the market, we have competitors, and those competitors have sold their traditional batch or near real-time solutions into a set of service providers. And those clients also want to move to real-time. Now, what we've been able to do is to allow those service providers to keep their traditional batch-based CVM environments and add a drop of Emagine real-time to turbocharge that environment. So how this looks is in a traditional operator or in a traditional service provider, be it a bank or an energy utility, an insurance company or a telecoms operator, the campaign management platform is typically installed, and historically most multi-channel campaign management platforms are batch architectures. They sit on top of a data warehouse, they take data in a batch mode, they segment customers and run batch-based campaigns, whether they're outbound or inbound. There's no streaming analytics. The architecture sits on top of data warehouses, which inherently have data latency. There's no event triggers, which are real-time coming into this sort of environment, which can allow sub-second customer interactions. So that's a challenge for any provider, any service provider who has a batch-based legacy architecture around campaign management. And that'll be pretty much everyone in the market today. What Emagine allows us to do, what Emagine now allows these service providers to do is add the Emagine real-time event decisioning module to their existing campaign management platform. So in this example, we take data streaming from whatever real-time source is made available. In this case, for a telco operator, it might be probes in the network directly off the IN or the HLR, and we build adapters to stream that data into the Emagine real-time event decisioning platform. In the case of other industries, it could be real-time data off smart meters in the energy sector, could be data off websites, and so on. So the real-time source streams into the Emagine real-time event decisioning platform, which is able to reference the data in the batch-based platforms in order to combine real-time and batch information, historical information, and real-time information to make sub-second customer interactions contextually relevant, personalized, and available to the customer in real time. So we'll integrate seamlessly with those existing platforms and add that real-time layer. Now that really provides Emagine with a competitive advantage in the market, which allows us to actually upsell our solutions into all of the existing service providers in the market. Okay, so in conclusion, just to recap, I talked a bit at the start about customer value management and the evolution of what customer value management is and how that's evolved towards real time and why we believed that was important. I explained several years ago that we invested and took the decision to go down the real-time path, and that led us to our selection and partnership with VoltDB. I went through briefly that selection process and why we selected VoltDB. And finally, I gave you some practical case studies on the impact of real-time for our clients and also for Emagine's business. So in conclusion, we saw that opportunity in the market in the real-time space. We selected the market leader, we believe, in VoltDB as our technology partner and as the heart of our application. And indeed, it has turned out to be very compelling that delivering real-time customer interactions has delivered not only technically the speed that we expected, but also the business impact which we had expected. So, having said all of that, thank you very much for your time, and I'll now hand back to Bruce to conclude the presentation.
Thanks, David. It was great to hear such a compelling example of how businesses today can leverage fast data to competitively differentiate themselves in their market segments. Now that we've talked about the business opportunities, I want to spend a few minutes to talk about a few of the technological alternatives that can have a big impact on your ability to monetize fast data. As we discussed earlier, fast data and big data are different, and they have different requirements. Often, the technology employed for big data will not work effectively for fast data applications. Fast data processing involves a continuous process of ingesting data, analyzing and making decisions or taking action on each event as it flows into your systems. While batch gets faster, it still falls short of what's needed to process fast data effectively because it does not allow you to look at each individual event as it arrives in your business. Advances with in-memory operational databases and high-speed data ingestion and export technologies will continue to make it easier and more practical for fast data processing than it's ever been. When I visit with customers today, I often see development organizations taking a do-it-yourself approach, assembling multiple components to create a fast data processing infrastructure. The challenge with the do-it-yourself approach is that your dev team is not focused on creating value with their core competence around application development, but instead is behaving as a systems integrator, integrating and testing components, each of which has their own unique requirements and often failures, lengthening time to value for your development investment. Oftentimes, open source components require you to find and hire highly skilled development talent. Sometimes free software is awfully expensive. VoltDB was purpose-built for fast data. It is an integrated system rigorously tested and QA'd, takes a fraction of the components that an open source approach takes, and is much easier to deploy and maintain. One of our customers described the do-it-yourself open source approach as being like buying an IKEA car. Lots of work, expertise, and time required, and heaven knows what you'll get in the end. The question is, what business do you want to be in? Do you want to spend your development resources building a fast data infrastructure or invest the money in your application and business logic? As you heard from David earlier, another alternative technology choice is often between systems that are not real-time or eventually consistent, meaning the data is not correct in the moment, but hopes to be over a period of time. NoSQL technologies, for example, are eventually consistent. This chart shows two dimensions: systems response times now versus later, and the value of data. Fast data applications typically require low latency, interactive response speeds on the order of a few milliseconds. Hadoop and Spark technologies are used in batch-style applications or where very fast response is not required. Minutes to hours are okay. Stream processing offerings like Storm and Spark Streaming offer faster response, but don't guarantee the data will not be lost. If you have high-value data and need your data fast or in the moment, you need a system like VoltDB, a system that never loses data, is 100% consistent, and is super fast, milliseconds fast.
Thank you, Bruce, and thank you, David. That concludes today's session. I hope we were able to help you identify opportunities for your business to take advantage of fast data. VoltDB has helped hundreds of organizations transform their business with fast data. We engage intensely with our customers, and we commit to their long-term success. Every customer is assigned a customer success engineer, all of which is to say, if you see opportunities, please contact us. In our next executive webinar on April 7th at 11:30, we'll talk about how first to value beats first to market. You'll learn how innovative companies in mobile telco, financial services, media and entertainment, and Internet of Things have successfully tapped into the fast data opportunity. You'll learn key metrics and evaluation criteria from case studies that delivered superior value, profitability, and growth. And then following that, session number 3, we'll cover strategies for evaluating alternative business and technology options. That's it for today. Thank you and goodbye.